Men of Reddit. What myth about men is 100% untrue and infuriates you when you hear it? I'll never understand the very common belief that men can't or refuse to care for children. I was a single dad for a while. The amount of women strangers who assumed I was unable to dress, feed or take my daughter to the toilet annoyed me. The other side of it was I got a lot of welcome help from female friends and colleagues. Loads of girls' clothes, toys, etc. My biggest annoyance though, was the institutionalized sexism. I had complaints about taking my daughter to a mum and baby group. Mum and baby swimming. Mum and baby anything. I was only allowed in mum and baby swimming when I threatened to speak with a lawyer regarding sexual discrimination and take my story to the papers. The sexual discrimination lawyer wouldn't deal with me. Only women. That we only tell women our feelings to coerce them into bed. Like, wow, how new and amazing this relationship is. I'm so glad I found you. That is uncomfortable vulnerability, not some sort of plot. Or that sex is something men take from women. That it is something women hold and give out to men. Instead of thinking of sex as something enjoyable that both partners want to do together. It is this weird game. Looks like it's more culture specific, being with the father figure by mother, grandma. Like if you messed up or misbehaved, if your dad finds out you'll be in trouble. Worst case is when dad is told the story in a way that he gets angry and fulfills those threats. It wasn't only in my case. Most of the guys I've been talking with had the same case. Like, WTF? My mom was like this. The funny part was when she did tell my dad. He'd look at her and say, "Did you take care of it already?" asking if she already disciplined my brother or I. She'd say yes. So he'd be all, "Oh, okay." Me having big feet only means that I wear big shoes. And seriously, what makes girls think they can just come up to you and ask about it? If he's got big feet, ears, nose, etc., he better be packing, cause that's one funny looking dude. Badly paraphrased Jeff Foxworthy. If those three were true feet, nose, ears, I'd be hung like a horse. Unfortunately, I'm not. ETA, great. This is my most upvoted comment in a while. Lasai. Horses have relatively small shoes for their size. If you expose us to radiation, we gain superpowers. In reality, this has only happened a few times and most men would just die. So you're saying there's a chance? That's a risk I'm willing to take. My grandpa tested a couple nukes in a waist-deep trench. I blame all my health problems on wondering exactly where on his waistline the top of that trench was. I probably don't want to frick you. It's usually a big decision with like some anxiety figuring out if I actually want to sleep with you even if I'm already interested. Although promoting ourselves as Captain Horndog makes us look cool to other guys, so a lot of dudes do that. Or they're desperate. I can think a woman's attractive without wanting to frick them. That's always been true, even as a teenager. Men think about sex every X amount of seconds. I'm a grown man with a life. I have more to think about than just sex. Dude. My health teacher back in freshman year of high school said something like men think about sex 8+ minutes out of every hour. I don't know what crock of shiz survey she read. But I doubt we spend that much time. Yeah, I don't know about you. But I'm too busy thinking about the glory of Rome to devote that much time to sex thoughts. Agreed. I also just thought about sex. Yeah, my sex thought budget for the day has been expended. No more for me today. No sirree. Men can't show emotion in public unless it's anger or greed. men can't be abused by women, or that men can get assaulted, harassed by other men. I've had some very pushy gay men approach me. One going as far as trying to touch my ass and dick inside my underwear after I said like 3 times that I'm straight and not interested. Luckily the women I was out with immediately chastised that guy. But TBH, guys laugh at me when I tell that story and talk about how badly they would have beaten him up. Women who I've told always reacted shocked and emphatic. I was roofied at a gay bar a few months ago. Nothing happened. But I'm pretty certain it was only because I left the bar and somebody found me out on the sidewalk outside the bar unable to move or do anything really and called my friend to pick me up using my phone. There are plenty of fish in the sea. Just get over it. Frick you. I liked that fish. Even if it was kinda mean and cruel. I need this on a t-shirt. If a woman physically assaults a man, he somehow must have done something to deserve it. This gets even worse in those cases where male victims of domestic abuse are getting arrested in case the police gets called, even though they are the victims and not the attacker. I called the cops once on an abusive ex who had threatened to kill herself as a way to manipulate me to stay with her. When they arrived they treated me like I was a criminal. I'm sorry for you, man. I had to face the same situation, ex taking a bunch of pills as a way to manipulate me to stay with her. I was only 16 years old. I had to call the cops and I was terrified. Thankfully they were really helpful and one of them even told me it wasn't my responsibility to put up with that shiz. My ex used to use this all the time. She went to law school to be a defense attorney. The worst offense of this, where I broke up with her and told her to move out of my house-owned way before meeting her. She refused. I applied for an eviction. She told me if I ever went through the eviction, she would just call the police and tell them I abused, raped her so I would go to jail and she would use my house for free. That we're all not interested in or incapable of being involved in the planning of our weddings. I cannot tell you how many comments like "Remember, it's her day, not yours," I received during the 2-year lead up to our wedding. I'm not going to lie to you and say I've been looking forward to getting married since I was 12 or something, but I took an active interest together with my wife in the planning of our wedding. It's not my day. It's hers, frick that. It was our day. We planned it together. Her vision definitely brought it all together and she did a fucking astounding job. But she didn't just make decisions on her own. We talked together about and worked together on every single thing involved in the event. And we were both ecstatic with how it turned out. It turned out beautifully. I try not to toot my own horn very often, but I never thought the best party I'd ever go to would end up being my own. My own parents, who are in an incredible, cooperative, supportive, happy married relationship, and are the best parents I could have possibly asked for. For the record, gave me grief about this sort of thing when I was telling them that when I get married, I want a smaller, not exorbitantly expensive wedding. They both, especially my dad, insisted that my hypothetical fiancé would be the one calling all the shots. Now that I type it out, I have to wonder if that's them perpetuating the stereotype or calling me spineless. Smaller is the way to go. The current wedding industry is fucking predatory with the amount of money they expect a relatively new couple to spend on what is ultimately a glorified party. Financial issues are a prime reason why people get divorced, and what does our society do? Immediately saddle the new couple with a huge financial burden because it's expected. Frick that shiz. That we are not afraid of walking alone through a dark car park at night. After a great deal of asking everyone from police to self-defense instructors, to a green beret and a bunch of combat vets, to the most cracked-out gun nuts, not met a single person who had no fear. Because having fear is healthy. If you aren't afraid of anything, You're just a fucking idiot with no real-world experience. What distinguishes the people you mentioned is their ability to overcome fear and function decisively when they need to. No. I'm not going to a strip club. No. That doesn't mean I'm gay. See also, Hooters. That place fucking sucks, and the last 2 times I was dragged there I had beer spilled on me by the wait staff because they hire based on flirting instead of the ability to actually serve fucking food. Just because I have a dick and you have a vagina doesn't mean I'm trying to get in your pants. I want friends just like anyone else. But when I try to talk to people like my guy friends, they assume I'm trying to date them. No. I just like asking my friends how they were because I hate people who only talk to you when they want something. So I talk to everyone as a show of you are my friend. Not the services you offer. I was at a festival recently and offered a chick some water since it was hot AF out. Her friend stormed up to me and screeched she has a boyfriend. Without saying a word I turned. Looked at her and pointed to the 3 different rainbow objects on my body. Then to my husband standing next to me. She looked like, oh fuck. A few minutes later the girl I offered water to came up and apologized to me over it. That was the first time I had ever even remotely experienced something like that. But your statement is so true. Somehow. Me offering water to someone when it's like 90 outside means I want to frick them. This makes making friends as adults hard. The worst is when they say, I have a husband. Cool, but I just want you as a friend. Erections mean we want sex. Even as adults. They can still be random. Not even random. Studies have been done, and even when a man is absolutely terrified, stimulation on the penis can cause an erection. Never heard of a fear boner before. Hence the expression, scared stiff. Or lack of erection meaning we don't. There's nothing more demoralizing than that.